Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhita Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshiniim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Devyai Stavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagah Dhyanavastita Tadgate Namasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidusura suraganah Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Hari. Bhagwan Sri Krishna has said, the one who can see action in inaction, he is wise. And we have seen elaborately how this comes about. And in the last class, we saw a little bit more about this wise man. Yasya sarve samarambah kama sankalpa varjitah jnanagni dagda karmanam yasya sarve the tamahu panditam buddha. So this wise man is extremely active. Sarve samarambah, he takes up all activities. But all those activities are free from desires. Kama sankalpa varjitah. And he has jnanagni dagda karmanam. All his actions have been burned in the fire of knowledge. And therefore, Wise people call him a realized master. Thus, tyaktva karma phalasangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmani abhivrittopi naiva kinchit karoti sah. He doesn't do anything. Naiva kinchit karoti. Doesn't do anything at all. How? Having given up attachment to the results of action. Tyaktva karma phala asangam. Attachment to the results of action he has given. Nitya truptah is ever content. Nirashrayah, he doesn't have all kinds of false hopes and expectations. Thus he is able to not do anything at all while he is vigorously engaged in action. Vigorously working all around. So the verse 20 described then a grihastha jnani. A grihastha, he has a lot of karmas. He has a family to take care of. He lives in the society. He has societal obligations. So he is engaged in action. But a jnani who is also a grihastha, he can be that because he has renounced attachment to actions and results. Now there is another jnani. Nirashihi yata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvan apnoti kilbisham. Now this kind of jnani, we call them a sannyasi jnani. He has taken to formal sanyasa. So tyaktva sarva parigraha, he has given up all accumulating things. When you're in the family, with wife, children and all that, you need a lot of stuff. You need a house, you need a car, you need this, you need that. So all that you have. But a sannyasi, on the other hand, he doesn't need any of that. He has given up all that, all those possessions. Nirashihi doesn't have unnecessary asha, hopes and expectations. I need to do this, I need to accomplish this, that. And what he does, shariram kevalam karma. For the bare maintenance of the body, what needs to be done, he does. So this kind of a lifestyle of a sannyasi, and if he pursues that kind of a lifestyle and also devotes his time for jnana, that is important. You give up everything, you are out on a dole. No. You are on welfare. No. He has the society taking care of him. But all the time he has saved, he is in Atma Chintana. That he is doing. So, this kind of a jnani, he has mastered both his mind and body. He just does the bare minimum for the sustenance of the body. That's all. And if at all he is acting in the society, it is for the welfare of the society, not for his personal gains. He is the sannyasi jnani. So we have seen up to this so far, verse 21. Now today we continue with verse 22. Yadracchālābhasantuṣṭah Yadracchālābhasantuṣṭah Dvandvātīto vimatsarah द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते कृत्वापि न निबध्यते यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टः द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते. This verse can be interpreted for a grihastha jnani, or it can be interpreted for a sannyasi jnani also. We can interpret this both ways. Bhashyakara Shankaracharya takes the verse as a description of a sannyasi jnani. I've told you several times, Shankaracharya is a huge, big proponent of sannyasa. Any chance at all he gets, he will talk about sannyasa. But I will interpret it the other way. We are talking to a grihastha. As I am talking to all you grihasthas only. Because such a discussion is very useful as a guideline for the right living for all of us. Very important. So what is such a person's attitude in life? Yadricha labha santushtah. He welcomes whatever happens in life as a result of his karma. Agate swagatam. Whatever comes, welcome. He understands what he is getting is a result of his past actions. He's understood the law of karma. He doesn't get upset about it. These are the results of my past actions. I cannot go back and change that. It's done. It's history. You cannot change it. This is an important lesson that we should remember in our lives. That I'm not totally under the control of the future and everything. And we have to be careful in this. People tend to oscillate between two extremes. There are one set of people, the arrogant type, who claim, I can totally control my future. The can do. You need to have that, but still we're talking about show a very positive attitude, strive hard and all that. But to be arrogant about it, then that's going to be a problem. Problem in the sense, if you do fail, then you will be hit hard. As long as everything is going well as per your plans, you will be riding high. Once in a while, when that does not happen, then you'll have lots of problems. The other extreme is the fatalistic type people who says, nothing is under my control. Everything is written here. On my forehead, it has been written. What can you say? That's what they say. It's as if, Bhagwan is there, and before he brings a child into this world, he sits there with his, and then writes on the forehead. No, nothing like that. Gita says both extremes are bad, wrong. So what is the right attitude? I am one of the contributory factors with regard to future. I have a free will. I can make decisions. I can implement action. I'm a very important contributor, no doubt. But I cannot totally decide, design, influence the future. If I do not have total control, what are the other factors that control? All other factors put together, we call it Daivam. There are too numerous to identify. It's a long list. The whole world is so much interconnected. And what happens to me may be affected by what happens in another corner of the world. Planning a trip in the summer. For no fault of your own, your airfares have increased 100%. On top of that, you may have to pay not only a higher fare, but with your own life. So you're scared. All plans ground to a halt. Best thing, stay put. Shelter in place. What to do? Things happen. All those extraneous factors put together, we call Daivam or Prarabdham. You can call it Ishvara Icha, God's will. Therefore, my attitude should be, I contribute my best. And once I have contributed my best, I prepare my mind to receive any type of result. Puja Gurudev says, very pithy statement he gives, do your best, leave the rest. So you give it your best shot. Rest of it you just leave to Daivam. This attitude we call Yadricha Labha Santushtah. Whatever I get by chance, Yadricha. I will get the result according to my karma pala. I'm ready to take that. Even if there is alabha, even if there is a loss, I'm still happy. It doesn't affect me. Again, we should be careful. Whatever comes is karma pala according to the law of the Lord, according to the law of karma, but that doesn't mean I do not work to improve my situation. If I fail, I have to accept because it has happened. So it is choiceless. At the same time, with regard to the future, with regard to the next result, I do have control. I can learn from my failures, analyze it objectively, make changes. Accept the present, but work for the future. Worry cannot change the past, present, or the future. I've talked about worrying and planning many, many times. Present requires acceptance. Future requires hard work. This is a simple lesson from the Gita. The present, it is only the past that manifests as the present. Should be accepted. Planning and hard work is needed to shape the future. Either is accomplished by worrying. Bhagavan has already said, Ashocyan Anvashochastvam. Started the Gita saying that. 11th verse of the 2nd chapter. Arjuna, you're unnecessarily worrying about things. Nothing deserves worry. Bury that worry. Yatracha labhasantushtah dvandvatitah, dvandva, pairs of opposite. Atitah, go beyond the pairs of opposites. And this was also described, we saw in the second chapter. Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha, sukheshu vigadaspruhah, vita raga bhaya krodah, stitadihi munihi uchyate. Yes sarvatra anavisneha, tat tat prapya shubha ashubham, nabi nandati nadveshti. Facing a series of pairs of opposites. Dvandva atitah. The wise man goes beyond all those. Labha, alabha, gain, loss, joy, sorrow, heat and cold, all that. Don't allow any of that to disturb your mind. And you cannot stop them also. But you can immunize your mind. You can strengthen yourself. So when they show up, you can protect yourself. So use jnanam, knowledge. It's Atma Jnana, Vedantic knowledge. Once you gain, you enter the world of pairs of opposites. You play the game. Dvandvatito vimatsaraha, the one who has gone beyond competition. According to our tradition, competition is not healthy. The modern mindset is very different. Competition. Everything is a competition. I need to be number one. Okay. So, even in Olympics, etc., and in sports, competition, it is there. I want to be number one. And to be that, you abuse performance-enhancing drugs. You perform very well. But then, post-competition drug test, you fail. They take away the medal. It happens. Whether they take away the medal or not, some of those have very bad side effects in your body itself. So many football players in college and professional, they've taken the steroids. And then once, 35 years, 37 years, when they retire from football, their body is like a 60-year-old. We've read about all that. It may bring the best in you for a short period of time, but it has serious side effects. And in other fields, some of these things, the competition, it leads to jealousy. I want to win at all costs. You take to cheating, take to illegal, immoral ways. All that is, those are problems. Our scriptures say love and cooperation must be the means to improve performance, not matsarya, not jealousy. Matsarya, jealousy, is one of the 6 enemies. Shad ripus are there, it's one of that. So have samaha, siddhau, asiddhau cha. Siddha, when you accomplish what you want to accomplish. Asiddha, you set out to do something, didn't work out. Failure. Be the same, samaha. Real success is the ability to change what you can change, manage both success and failure in life. Sometimes managing your success, that's also tough. The other fact is you can never be 100% successful all the time. People talk about how to get success always. That's impossible. If there was a method to do that, Bhagwan would have taught us. Instead, he teaches the jnana that tells you you cannot get success all the time. But it gives a capacity to face both success and adverse situations. And that is the real success. Someone who is able to do that, will be a success in life. We definitely don't vote for failure. Okay? That's not what we want. That's not our goal. What happens? Sometimes you fail. I'm ready for either result. That is jnana. Getting that is a real success, true success. Siddha asiddhaucha samah. One is the same in success and failure. He is truly a successful person. Such a person, kritva api, even though active, doing things, as a householder doing all actions, or even as a sannyasi, he is doing so much for the welfare of the society. Loka sangraha. Na nibadhyate. Being active, you will not get bound. As a grihastha, as a sannyasi, one can enjoy performing actions. A jnani will do so as a sport, as a leela. All his actions are leela. But if you are a jnani, be it a grihastha or sannyasi, then every action will be a struggle. There are sannyasis who have taken to formal sannyasa, but they have not gotten this maturity. It is there. Enough of them are there. And they are struggling. So grihastha struggle, and that goes without saying. But others also. But what is important? For your life to be successful, you get this jnana. Ready for any result. You take failure, success the same way. And if you have that kind of an attitude, while you do your action, that's the end of it. There is fulfillment in the action itself. That's the beauty. Continuing, he says, verse 23. Gata sangasya muktasya Gatasangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasah jnanavastita chetasah yajñacharatah karma yajñayacharatah karma samagram praviliyate samagram praviliyate Gatasangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasah yajñayacharatah karma samagram praviliyate. In this verse again, a grihastha jnani description is there. These verses are important because many people wonder whether sannyasa is required uh, to become a mukta purusha. To gain liberation, should you become a sannyasi? Householders ask the question if they should take to sannyasa. Bhagavan very clearly resolves this conflict and he says it is not necessary. Don't ask that question because you want to be a grahastha, don't want to get out of it. You don't want to become a sannyasi, so don't look for such answer. That's not the point. You don't take this as a license to be attached to all the negative points in the householder's life. But you can be a householder, but have internal detachment. That is what is talked about. Physical renunciation, formally taking to sannyasa is not a must. That's the point. It's only the inner detachment, which is a must. You have to do that. So he says, Gata Sangasya, the one who has given up this Sangha, the attachment. He does not claim anything as his own. What is this attitude? Everything belongs to God, belongs to Lord alone. Whatever I possess, it's a gift from the Lord. He has given it to me for temporary use, by which I will contribute to their growth. The interaction will also contribute to my growth. We are all together for some time. My possession, my relationship, my relatives, all that. I use them. It's a field for education. And we use this grahasthashrama for inner growth. We cannot hold on to anything. It is God's will to give and it's God's will to take it away. So I am ever ready to give it up, including my physical body. So the attitude is, I am thankful to God for all His gifts. I love them, I take care of them, I do whatever I have to do. But I remember that everybody belongs to God and the Lord alone. When this attitude is there, such a person is Gata Sangaha, one who has given up all attachments. Once I develop this kind of detachment, then I'm free. Big relief. Therefore, Muktaha, free from tension, free from anxiety. It is not a mystic experience, it is not a mysterious experience. Pretty down to earth freedom from anxiety, tension, worry. I get that kind of freedom because I am not attached. And I can get the detachment because of knowledge. Viveka, Vairagya. We talked about many times. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Jnana Vastita Chetasaha. He is established in this knowledge. His mind never loses sight of this teaching because he knows I am the Atma, Satchidananda Atma, and the whole world is Anatma, including the physical body. And all the physical bodies around, they are nothing but matter. And they all come from the world. And they are going to move around in this world. And they will go back into the world. When this body has come, and when it goes back to the same, how can I claim that body or the mind to be me? All this is available for temporary use. This is the only method of getting detachment. Jnana avastita chetasaha. He never forgets the Vedantic teaching. Such a person, yajnaya karma acharatah, performs all actions as worship, as yajna. Here the word yajna means worship, worship of the Lord. This is the motive behind the action. In the case of an ajnani, the motive behind the action is hoping that action will produce the desired result, expected result. And once I get the result, I will be purna, I'll be complete, I will be happy. So purnatvam is a motivator. I'm not complete now. If I do this, I'll get this result, I'll be fulfilled. So that is the thought. Ajnani acts for happiness. He wants to gain happiness. Whereas a jnani acts out of happiness. He's acting from happiness, not for happiness. That's the only difference. So yajnaya acharatah karma, and by acting this way, his actions samagram praviliyate. All his actions dissolve without producing papa or punya. They do not add to agami karma. So, just like a roasted seed loses the ability to germinate, once you get this knowledge and you abide in this knowledge and act with this knowledge in place, the kartrutva bhava is gone. When kartrutva bhava is gone, when the doership is gone, where is the doing? Where is the karma? Karma is not there. Karma is not there. Where is the question of karma pala? So no agami karma. The example that quite often said is, when birds fly in the sky, do they leave any footprints? Fish swimming in water, do they have any footprints left? They keep on moving, but no trace. In the same way, wise men, the enlightened masters work. In the performance of the action itself, there is fulfillment. They do not expect anything from the results of the action. Everything praviliyate, it gets dissolved in the action itself. Now comes our favorite shloka. What is yajna? Jnani Purusha's yajna is very different from a karma yogi. Let us see. Verse 24. Brahmarpanam brahma havihi. Brahmarpanam brahma havihi. Brahmagnau brahmanahutam. Brahmagnau brahmanahutam. Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. Brahma karma samadhina. Brahma karma samadhina. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. So in this verse, Bhagavan concludes the Jnanam topic. It's a very important verse, deeply significant and philosophical. Quite often used as a prayer before food. We have this tradition in Chinmaya mission, before we take food, we chant this shloka. He makes a big leap in Vedantic teaching. Until now, Bhagavan talked about Jnanam as differentiating Atma and Anatma, Chetana, Chetana, Vibhaga, Dehi, Deha, Viveka, and all that. Every individual is a mixture of two principles. One is the consciousness principle, and the other is the matter principle or the body principle. We differentiate two by saying consciousness is not part of this body. It is not a product of the body. It is not a property of the body. It is independent. And that consciousness pervades this body and every body and enlivens all of them. Even though we say Dehi, embodied and all that, that doesn't mean that Atma is confined to this body, not limited by the boundaries of the body. And then that will survive even the fall of the body. When the body falls, when there is death, that consciousness cannot interact, cannot engage in any transactions because it needs the medium of the body. That doesn't mean it's gone, it's there. Only the medium is gone. So one of the first steps in Vedanta is to differentiate between Atma and Anatma. Consciousness and the body. Instead of claiming that I am the body, or a little bit better, I know I'm not the body, but I have this Atma. Now, instead of saying all that, I should claim I am the Atma. I am not a product. I'm not a part. I'm not an effect of the body. I am independent. I pervade. I live in the body. I'm not limited by the body. So I am the Atma. This is the first step in Vedanta. Vedanta says this knowledge is incomplete in this. I only say I am the consciousness and everything else is matter. That is really not complete knowledge. Still, we will be in duality. Duality between matter and consciousness is still there. Therefore, the next stage in Vedanta is knowing that there is no matter other than consciousness. Matter is mithya, unreal, false. Matter is non-substantial. It doesn't have any substantiality. There's no substance in it. Even though the matter looks very tangible, solid, but it doesn't have any substance of its own. It does not exist separate from consciousness. And I am that consciousness. So there is really no material world separate from me. This is the Upanishadic leap. And rarely talked about in Gita. You will find this in just one or two verses, and this is one such verse. If you have difficulty in understanding this idea, take the example of dream. you will see the dream is nothing but the waker. Waker has projected the dream. His mental impressions have been projected into the dream. And in the same way, the so-called material universe is projected from me, the consciousness. We have two types of dream. One is pratibhasik, the illusory dream that we all experience. We all have had the experience of dream that is called pratibhasika, illusory. The other kind of dream is the vyavaharika. That is this waking waking state in which we are transacting. Vyavahara means transaction, the empirical world, waking world. This is vyavaharik. Neither one of them is real. What is real is the absolute reality, paramarthika. Neither the waking world in which this body is there, nor the dream, which is illusory. Neither one is real. So we have to wake up from this waking world to the higher reality. That's why Kathopanishad cries out, Uttishtata, Jagrata, arise, awake. The third and most important lesson in Vedanta is that the body-mind complex and the external world do not exist independent of consciousness. Consciousness is satyam, real. Body-mind complex is mithya. A jnani, among the plurality of the world, sees the ekatva. He experiences the plurality, duality, but in that he sees the oneness of Atma. This is called Atma Ekatva Darshan. This idea is conveyed in this verse. Man of vision, one who sees this non-duality in and through the duality, that person is called Brahma Karma Samadhi. It is a title given to the jnani, one whose mind is absorbed. That absorption is called Samadhi. Here we are talking about Brahma Samadhi, which means not losing sight of Brahman in and through all karma, all actions. Brahma Karma Samadhi is a jnani who does not lose sight of this consciousness in and through all transactions. This is called Jnana Nishta, abidance in the knowledge. Atma Nishta, Brahma Nishta. A householder jnani continues his religious duties. One of those duties that was done in those times, there are very few who observe all these karmas. Agnihotra karma. That is one. Fire rituals, which they used to do. So Bhagavan brings in such an example. Even though he's a grihastha householder, he's a jnani and he knows Sarvam Brahma Mayam Jagat. Everything is nothing but Brahman. For a jnani, his Brahma Drishti is yajna. So he says, Brahma Arpanam, the instrument with which the oblations are offered, like the wooden ladle, is Arpanam in this context. That is Brahma. Looks upon Arpanam as Brahma. Brahma Havihi, the offering, the oblations, that is also Brahma. And then the fire, Brahmagna, it is offered in the fire, which is Brahma. Fire is also Brahma. The one who is offering the Yajaman, and he is acting through the priest. So Hutam, the priest, the offerer, Brahman again. As a result of this ritual, Vedas promise Swarga Loka, let us say, heaven has karma pala, the result. Jnani says, I'm not interested. That is also Brahman only. That Brahman is right here, so I don't have to go to heavens. So Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, by Brahma karma samadhina jnani who is absorbed in Brahma. So he looks at everything as Brahman only. This is not a upasana. This is knowledge. He said in Mundaka Upanishad, we will study Mundaka after we complete Chandogya. The next Upanishad I'll take would be Mundaka. We will see the famous mantra, Brahma eva idam purastad, Brahma paschat Brahma, Dakshinataha cha uttarena, Adascha urdvam cha prasrutam, Brahma eva idam vishvamidam varishtam. Brahman is there on the right, on the left, up and down. Everywhere you see Brahman, Brahman, Brahman alone. Everything else is only names and forms. Upadeshas are also we saw. Jagata Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Bhrat Deva Pujanam. Sadhana, service of the world with the attitude that Ishvara pervades the whole world. Whoever I serve in the world, I'm only serving God. This is called Ashtamurti Bhrat Deva Pujanam. For the wise, Ishadi Yukta Sevanam means Darshanam. So he looks at the whole world, karma, karana, karma phala, everything is Brahma. This is the Advaita Drishti. Neha nanasti kinchana, Kathopanishad says. Nothing else. There is this perception of various names and forms. In the understanding, there is no division. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.